agree with us need to know that they're not alone.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Events like what that you put on all the time are very good at that, like letting people know you're not alone.
Yes.
But we have to bring that also out onto the streets.
I totally agree. I mean, we should have peaceful protests outside of every one of these gender reassignment clinics regularly.
Agreed.
Matt, I know you got to run. Thanks so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, man. And check out Matt Walsh's podcast. It's terrific. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks so much for listening, everybody. Please email us freedom@charliekirk.com and subscribe to the Charlie Kirk Show podcast to listen to this conversation in its entirety. Thanks so much.
Hello, Silicon Valley Insider fans. You've listened to Keith Koo for 5 seasons discussing disruption and innovation. But did you know his passion is in advising and mentoring tech startups? For the new year, Keith and his team have a limited number of spots to take on additional clients. If you're thinking about how to get started with scaling your startup or developing a minimum viable product, email info@svin.biz to schedule an introductory conversation.
The Silicon Valley Insider Show, Saturday mornings at 10 on 860 AM. The Answer. The cost of everything is going up. It's got you re-examining your priorities in a big way. If you had thoughts of a private school for your child, where a well-rounded curriculum, individual attention, and an emphasis on values provide a foundation for success, well, we've got great news. Right now, on our website, you'll find tuition vouchers for some of the Bay's most prestigious private schools, available at half price. Learn more and explore our list of participating schools at 860amtheanswer.com.
This is Albert Mobler for townhall.com. We are witnessing a major realignment on the world stage. I'm referring to Vladimir Putin's developing friendship with China's Xi Jinping and the two leaders meeting recently in Moscow. China and Russia have something important in common, something far more important than their shared border, and that is a basic opposition to the United States and to the West. The nations of the world are aligning themselves with China and Russia on one side and with the United States and our Western allies on the other. It's happening fast, right before our eyes, and it's becoming increasingly difficult for nations to be non-aligned. After the Soviet Union had fallen at the end of the 20th century, many naively believed all those alignments would now be rearranged in a world of globalization driven by commerce and a common culture. Simply put, globalization didn't deliver on its promises. We are once again looking at a great ideological, a great worldview cleavage. All Americans, left, right, and center, ought to be paying very close attention.
Hi, Doug Andrew here. 4 questions. Did you or someone you know lose money in the market in 2008? Do you think a crash like that will happen again? Do you want to have what happened to your money last time happen again? What are you doing differently to prevent that? If your retirement savings are invested in the market, reposition that money and protect it from losses sooner than later. Learn how to make money safely with little to no downside risk. Join us for one of 5 Retire by Design workshops. We're coming to teach free workshops in Morgan Hill, Palo Alto, Danville, Orinda, and Burlingame, Wednesday through Friday, May 17th through the 19th. Call now to register and get details. 1-888-73-RADIO. That's 1-888-73-RADIO, which is 1-888-737-2346, which is 1-888-737-2346.
Now, more than ever, you need information here when you need it. 860 AM, The Answer. TRP San Francisco. Streaming now on smart speakers and the Odyssey app service of Salem Media Group.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Security is tight in New York City for Donald Trump's historic court appearance this week. White House correspondent Greg Cluxton reports from New York.
Police here have placed metal barriers around Trump Tower and blocked roads near Manhattan Criminal Courthouse. Even as officials brace for possible protests, the NYPD said there were no credible threats to the city. It also said that officers have been placed on alert and the department remains ready to respond as needed. The former president is due to be arraigned at the courthouse Tuesday afternoon. Greg Cluxton, New York.
The former president will soon arrive in New York City. Also at townhall.com, Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders declaring a state of emergency as the state responds to Friday's deadly tornadoes and Braces for even more storm forecast this week.
We have activated the National Guard in the hardest hit areas of the state. We've got 40 plus members on the ground here that will be aiding in that, as well as volunteers coming in from all over, and that'll be one of the top priorities ahead of Tuesday, is making sure we address that as best we can.
The governor spoke to KAIT. Areas that could see severe thunderstorms include parts of Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, southward to portions of Missouri, Arkansas, eastern Oklahoma, and northeast Texas. Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, and others will dial back supplies of crude to the global economy by 1 million barrels a day. That could send prices higher. Nearly 43,000 people died in the U.S. in traffic crashes in 2021, the highest number in 16 years, with deaths due to speeding and impaired or distracted driving on the rise, according to figures released by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. On Wall Street, the Dow is ahead 314 points, but the NASDAQ is down 73. More at townhall.com.
Now the O'Reilly Update brings you something you might not know. 141 years ago today, America's most famous outlaw was shot dead by his own accomplice. The killing ended a 16-year run of murder, robbery, and terror throughout the Midwest. Here is the story of Jesse James. James was born in Clay County, Missouri, September 1847. His older brother Frank fought for the Confederacy in the Civil War, Jesse himself too young to enlist. In 1864, the skinny 16-year-old joined a bloodthirsty militia led by Bloody Bill Anderson. They terrorized pro-Union sympathizers throughout the heartland. Jesse James quickly gained notoriety across the Great Plains for his good looks and penchant for killing. After the Civil War, he earned a living by robbing people, blackmailing people, and extorting them. Southern newspapers sympathized with Jesse James as a modern-day Robin Hood. Sheltered by Confederate sympathizers, he eluded authorities again and again. Over the next couple of years, the James brothers robbed dozens of banks in western Missouri. By the late 1870s, the group kept a relatively low profile. But one by one, members of the James gang were either captured or killed. After spending a few years farming, Jesse tried to organize a new gang, including local gunslingers Charlie and Robert Ford. After a routine squabble, the brothers decided to kill Jesse James for the reward money. On April 3rd, 1882, while Jesse's mother made breakfast in the next room, Robert Ford shot Jesse James in the head. He died instantly. Ford was paid $10,000 by the governor of Missouri. That's $300,000 in today's currency. And here's something else you might not know. Each year, thousands of Americans travel to Kansas City to visit the grave of Jesse James. His tombstone reads, "Here lies Jesse James, died April 3rd, 1882, age 34. He was murdered by a traitor and a coward whose name is not worthy to appear here." Back after this.
And paid for by the Sentinel Group. Attention veterans, active duty military, civilians, and contractors. If you were issued earplugs between 1999 and 2015 and were diagnosed with hearing loss or ringing in the ears, you may be entitled to compensation. The manufacturer of these military earplugs recently paid $9.1 million to resolve claims that their earplugs were defective, potentially exposing service members to damaging sound levels that could have resulted in hearing loss or tinnitus. If you or a loved one were issued earplugs and were diagnosed with tinnitus or hearing loss, don't wait. You fought for this country, and our attorneys want to fight for you. Call 800-687-1936 now for a free legal consultation and to see if you may be eligible to file a claim. Time restrictions may apply, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. So call 800-687-1936 now. Again, 800-687-1936. That's 800-687-1936.
Thank you for listening to the O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. No spin, just facts, and always
Streaming at 860amtheanswer.com, our mobile app, iHeart, TuneIn, and the Odyssey app. You can't find us wherever you go. You're just not trying.
Our fathers brought forth on this continent
Whoa.
a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal.
I know not what cost others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death.
The world will little note or long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here.
Over here.
What your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. I can hear you. The rest of the world hears you.
Damn, you fucking hit me head on? Damn. Like honked at me. Bitch, don't even.
And we will make America great again.
This is America First with Sebastian Gorka.
You know,
Shit, that was trying to hit me, I think.